Hello my loves, welcome back to Zeke's Lunchbox. Today we are going to go through and paint the Knight of Swords. If you follow me over on Instagram, you probably have already seen it, but you haven't seen the process of it and you haven't seen all the other discarded iterations of this card. So that's what we're going to go through today. But as you guys know, I am running a Kickstarter right now to raise some money for Zeke's Arcana, our tarot card deck that we are launching. Just a little update with where we are at. We have unlocked the patron card. So thank you guys so much for getting us over the line. Let's keep the momentum going and unlock the maker card because I'm really excited to paint the maker card. The two of them really work together, the two additional cards, so it would be a real shame if we didn't unlock both of them because they really do work as a set. If you're lost on what those two extra cards are, check out my last video where I chat about them and discuss the meaning between the two cards and how they work together. Thank you guys so much for unlocking the patron card, it's very exciting. Another little update, if you guys missed it, on my birthday, which was on the 15th of October, we launched a tote bag. We've had an amazing reception with the tote bag. Thank you guys so much if you've grabbed one. If you're a little lost or you haven't caught up, we have released a canvas tote bag. It has a cotton red drill handle and then red lining on the inside. It features a bunch of the tarot cards that we've drawn here on this channel. You can grab that over on the Kickstarter as an add-on. If you have just bought the deck and you want to get the tote bag as well, you can grab that as an add-on. But if you have pledged the collector's tier, you can now upgrade it to get the tote bag, and when you grab the collector's bundle and then the tote bag together, you get the tote bag for a little discount. Just remember, you don't get charged until the 29th of October. Yeah, so you know, you can change your tier if you want to grab some extra stickers or a pouch or what have you, you can do that as well, and that will help us get over the line and unlock the maker card. I believe that's all the housekeeping. Let's get into the Knight of Swords. Hello my loves, we are about to embark on a brand new card. I haven't focused on like just doing one artwork per video and like really zeroed in for a really long time. A lot of the digital cards have just been like clumped together, and the last time I think we did this was this card here. So what we're going to be doing for today is the Knight of Swords. I'm really excited about doing all the swords, mostly because, you know, I've done the King and the Queen so far and I love the way that those turned out. Even though they're pink, they feel very mature. Maybe it's because the subject matter has very stern expressions. Maybe the subject matter has like more deeper hues in the skin. I think just pairing the pink with really deep blues is very exciting to me. Yeah, I'm excited to get cracking with the Knight of Swords. So before we have a good look of this card and I chat about the meaning behind the card, let's take a look at what I've sketched so far, because to be quite honest, I sketched the thumbnail for this a long time ago and I kind of need to refresh myself and yeah, just see what I drew all those weeks ago. This is the thumbnail that I came up with for the Knight of Swords. Here is the knight in the middle and I wanted to put some wings on there, and this will be bursting out from the head of the knight as well. I thought I was going to do like an oversized sword, which is over here. I did draw another one where they're holding the sword. It seems to make a little bit more sense if they're holding it. But you know, putting an additional sword in there, I'm not going to write it off just yet. It could be cool. My only concern is that if it's in the hand of the knight, it might be too small, and you know, that is what the suit is about. It's about obviously the knight, but it's also needs to hero the actual sword. So I want to make sure that the composition does that. Those sort of decisions I kind of have to leave until I see the basic skeleton of things, and then I'll start to place in elements and play around. Let's keep going here with describing what we're seeing. So we've gone through the knight, the sword, and then the girl here. I didn't quite like the hair that I've popped in, so we'll see how that goes. And then these balls the balls that are like coming out of the head, these like fun playground balls are featured throughout a bunch of tarot cards. So I want to try and, you know, keep it unified and have that element repeated throughout a lot of the cards, because it's all meant to feel like a set and those repeating elements make it feel unified. And then lastly, see in a couple of the sword cards, I've featured Hawthorn, some spiky purple Hawthorn in a couple of cards, and I might continue to do that if I need some more filler in terms of, you know, some areas need a little, just a little pizzazz, a little compositional fluff. I always have that option as well. Pretty much the proportions that I want to go with, I really want to make sure that the wings pretty much take up a lot of the composition in this piece, because in the king and the queen, the butterfly wings are pretty prevalent, and I want to make sure that, you know, in this one it does the same. Now, if you guys are still new here and maybe you haven't seen the knight that I've already done, I will pop that up on screen for you now. So I have already painted the Knight of Wands, which is one of my absolute favorite cards that I've made for the tarot card deck. For me, it just has so many different elements. I think the composition is just really rich. Like, it starts at the top and you work your way down to all of the details, and I just really love the imagery of making women look, I don't want to say masculine, but like more like they have determination, strength. You know, we often see men in positions of being the knight, and I don't know, I think it's just nice seeing some women in the role instead. It also really reminds me of like any sword and sorcery or even medieval stuff. Imagery in general is, one, very recognizable, and two, I just find, like, especially in gaming culture, and I find that they're all very gray, and for me it's very exciting to take that imagery and, like, you know, put a 90s colorful toy aesthetic to it instead, you know? I'm fulfilling all of my Polly Pocket fantasies. Because we've got the split head egg cracked open down the bottom, and then we've got the knight that's bursting out of the head in the Knight of Wands. I want to continue that throughout all of the knights. Oh, guys, I totally forgot. I already drew a knight, and because a couple of weeks ago I got commissioned to draw a bunch of unicorn stuff and I'm not sure if that video is released or not by this time. Probably not. That video will be coming out soon. Anyway, I was commissioned to draw some unicorns, and I thought maybe I could use one of the unicorns that I was commissioned for in a card, and I made this image here. And as cool as the whole carnival aesthetic looks, for me, I have such a distinct vision of how I want the knights to look. I don't know, this just felt like, no matter how many times I try and repurpose another piece of art for something else, it just never quite turns out exactly how I want it to look. It's just always better just starting fresh. Back in the day when I used to do fashion, I would try and repurpose clothes to make them into something else, and the vision is just never perfect, and I don't want to compromise any of that for me in my work. Let's move on to the actual meaning of the Knight of Swords. Okay, so this is the Knight of Swords. As you can see, a lot of action going on with this particular card. So there's lots of momentum, and the knight that is on the horse is charging forward with their sword in their hand, you know, ready for battle. I love how the clouds in the background also have the same direction of movement, as well as the trees too. Actually, there's a lot of movement in this card, so maybe I should try and keep that in consideration for mine as well. Some meanings for when the card is upright: ambitious, action-oriented, driven to succeed, fast thinking. I feel like you can really get that language, and that translates pretty well. Reversed, the card can mean restless, unfocused, impulsive, burnout. Yeah, I would say, you know, that translates pretty easily. I mean, you know, a lot of the minors are pretty obvious in their symbols. I know maybe if you're new to tarot, it doesn't quite seem so intuitive, but you know, after a while you can kind of guess what a lot of them mean, because they're all about, you know, tapping into your instincts. So for me, I would like to try and depict a knight who's a little bit more cheeky, a little bit more mischievous, somebody who looks like they are impulsive and just a bit naughty, you know? What I've done so far for the Knight of Swords is I've just done this quick sketch and study of a horse and a person sitting on a horse. Trying to figure out the wings. I definitely want to do some like cicada style wings. I just think they're really pretty. So I tried to sketch a little bit on the iPad Pro, but after working with the Cintiq and the screen size of the iPad is just, I find it so difficult sketching on the iPad now. So I've just transferred a PSD file and I'm just going to go over to the Wacom instead. This is the stage where we go into Digi-land. Let me go into what I've got so far with the sketch. This face here I drew a while ago. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it. It doesn't capture the mood of the card. It was just a face that I had lying around, and I think the face needs to be a little bit more cheeky, a bit more mischievous, so I might play around with what I've got here, or I might also just ditch it. I kind of want a portrait where the head is tilted forward a little bit more and their eyebrows are furrowed as well, and they also have a slight smirk, so really that's a completely different face, and maybe I'll use this one for something else. But for now I really want to just sketch the knight and the horse and the wings, and then I'll figure out the other face later. Hello everybody. Quick update on the Knight of Swords sketch. I'm working so slowly on this card, which is actually, I mean, like I said at the top of the video, it's nice working at a different pace, something where I don't have to like really pump out artwork super fast and, you know, kind of let things ruminate a little bit more so I can really think design decisions through. That being said, I'm pretty desperate to like get a move on with this one. What I sketched up yesterday is, you guys saw the original face, the main bulk of the face. I sketched up a very rough idea of the new face that I want to do, as well as I cleaned up the knight and changed the position of the arm, and then also angled the wings a little bit more. Lucky for me, I've got this cicada, real cicada framed that I got in Thailand, and I was able to kind of like angle it so I can really capture it from real life, see what that's like, because finding the perfect angle of the wings is a little difficult to get online. So glad that I have that to reference. And then also, yeah, I'm pretty much going to steal the designs from and the patterns from this cicada, but obviously change the colors to best suit the whole suit of swords. Found a face of a girl who is like looking down and she's kind of smirking, and because she's looking down, her eyebrows are a little bit more furrowed. I'm still tentative with this sketch because it's so rough compared to the other one, so I think really I just need to clean up the face a bit, and then I'll really be a bit more sold on whether or not I want to go with that one. That's where I'm up to. Unfortunately can't draw that much today or at all because I have to work on videos, but I will update you guys once I sketch up a little bit more. Hello everyone. So I've been spending a decent amount painting finally today and kind of fleshed out the main part of the face, as you guys will see in a moment. Really laying down the colors and just trying to figure out like exactly what all the little micro details are going to look like. I was having issues with the hair for a little bit, but anyway, let's have a look so we can chat about it a bit more. This is where we are up to. I'm loving how devilish her face looks. It really reminds me of those Japanese yokai. I'm pretty sure that's the term that I'm looking for. They really remind me of like evil theater kabuki faces. The lighting in particular really reminds me of like old school 50s horror posters, so I'm vibing it. So yeah, before the hair was looking a little bit too Karen-y for me, and I wanted it to more look like a cute pixie haircut. Now that I've added in some green elements, that's really helping to just give a little bit more dimension and separation from the blue face. I have yet to figure out exactly what I'm going to pop in the middle here, but I think it needs the sword mostly for like, you know, so you really understand straight away when you see the sword, because this one over here is just a tiny little bit too small, and I've got to try and figure out a better way for it to be interacting with the gap in the face rather than just, you know, placed down. And then here I think I'm gonna do some like little stones, maybe some stars, just because I am feeling like it's all very blue and I need some yellow to brighten it up a tiny bit. And then I'm also trying to figure out the colors for the horseman. It's the end of the day now, so I'll check back in with you guys when I've worked a little bit more on it. Okay, so we're gonna do a little update with where I'm at. I'm feeling like this is about the halfway mark, or maybe just about 45% done. Let's chat about the girl and the hair that I've rendered this morning. Pretty happy with the results of the hair. Let me just get rid of a couple of layers here so we can have a proper look at it. Doing some hair that's very heavily inspired by Loish. On Instagram, she has 1 million followers. She's pretty much, for me, like one of the first people that really inspired me to take on digital painting, especially whenever she posts any videos of her painting. I really like watching the way her hand moves across a piece, and I really want to try and get more in the habit of making my pieces very swirly and loose as I can make my pieces anyway, because I still don't think I'm quite at the place where I can really break down my artwork and go a little bit more in the abstracted realm of it all. I really liked the technique that she would do with her hair, where it just felt like you're really chiseling and sculpting the piece, and it felt very fluid. So that's kind of what the hair technique that I took on is. The piece really does need quite a lot of texture, just because, you know, everything at the top here is so small, and on a grand scale, and especially the scale that the card will be read at, you won't see all those tiny little details. I'm mostly going to make the circled characters here very similar to my Knight of Wands character. And the textures that I've done with her are more like Play-Doh. I really like that super plasticky look. I'm basically fulfilling all my childhood fantasies of like having every single toy I've ever wanted, but just painting that. I'm very happy that I went with this route. If you guys remember at the top of the video, I was playing with the idea of keeping with the original face that I did, but she just had such a serene, coy expression. It just, it doesn't suit the piece and the mood that I'm trying to go with. I have added some like little star flecks of gold. I think we mentioned that before I needed some jewelry, so I'm gonna leave those for now, because right now I think I want to move on to the horse. And another addition is, because I've been trying to figure out what I want to put in the middle here, and I think I'm gonna do this like tentacle thing that's like kind of spilling out from the split of her head and then coming out from the back over here, just to really force that depth, give the illusion that things have a lot more 3D elements to them than they may appear. Years ago, I remember researching and looking at people who talk about tarot decks and when they review art, and for a lot of readers, I remember that they really liked recurring items to keep on coming back throughout the whole deck, and these like horse mermaid characters have been pretty recurring throughout the deck, as well as, oh no, yeah, I've done, I think, 2 horses, or maybe 3 different pieces already with this like horse mermaid snaky anaconda tail thing. I think it adds a real like element of grotesque, and it's also a really good way to just actually have somebody interacting with the sword, so it's not just floating there. I also think just like holding on and gripping onto the sword feels correct for the storytelling that is occurring here. I'm gonna move on to the horse, and I think I'm gonna blitz through and get back to you guys when we're almost there. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. We are going to get to the final reveal of the Knight of Swords in one moment, so hang tight. But before we get there, let me know what your favorite element in the card is. Is it the little knight on the top? Is it the horse tentacle creature? Or is it the nefarious split head girl down the bottom? Personally, my favorite element in this piece are the little stars and the little barrettes that she has in her hair. I feel like the blue and the yellow just pop off so well, and the contrast between the two of them is like delicious. Comment your favorite element below in the comment section, and remember to subscribe. Lots more tarot content coming soon. We still have 5 more tarot cards to make as well before the end of the year. So if you're interested in knowing more about those cards, subscribe. They're gonna come soon. I will be painting the patron card over on this channel as well, so subscribe to see this card come to life. Okay, let's get to the reveal.